Okay, lean in today because we are spilling the tea on yet another thing I wish I knew as a coach looking to grow my business online and figure out how to just get some clients in the door. I was actually just chatting with a couple of my biz besties who asked me a question that inspired this video, not because I necessarily want to talk about all of these mistakes, but because I've learned so much, and honestly, the whistle needs to be blown in the coaching industry, because I know it's not just me who's feeling bad about mistakes that they've made in the past and wondering, is something wrong with me, and making decisions in their business that aren't resulting in the results that we want. So my name is Hannah. I'm the CEO of Dream Life Consulting, where we help dozens of coaches go from no idea to where their next client is coming from to consistent 50K months using our systems for client acquisition and scaling. And the question that came up in this group chat was around masterminds. A popular word thanks to the marketing gurus who took a decent idea and turned it into a pyramid scheme. Okay, I'm not recording this to bash on anyone else's business, but to really just share with you what I'm seeing, what happened in my life, and the advice I gave my friends who are considering joining a $60,000 mastermind to help them move beyond six figures in their coaching business. And I asked them some questions about the mastermind, and then I also said, okay, do you want Coach Hannah or Friend Hannah to tell you what I think or give you advice on this? And they said Friend Hannah. So that's who I'm also going to share with you all today, because they needed it. I wish I had it. And if you're watching this, then I'm glad we've connected, because it does need to be talked about. What is going on with this whole mastermind marketing guru ecosystem that's been created in the last few years as the coaching industry booms? And when I talk about masterminds, I'm talking about these high ticket communities where they sell us on the idea that if you're just in the room with like-minded people, you will solve your business problems. You will learn how to get more clients. You will grow your audience. You will connect with collaborators. You will expand your name and your reputation, and your personal brand will just pop because you joined this mastermind. And I have definitely bought that ticket three times in totaling to $50,000 worth of business investments. First in a mastermind that was in person, where I got to go to places in America and meet up with folks twice a year and mastermind. And then the second time, a $25,000 mastermind that was online with other women in business who just needed to network and collaborate, and these sisters that have each other's back in business. And then a third mastermind that had a little bit of strategy around getting your message out there, and it ended up being all about building joint ventures or affiliate partnerships or how to collaborate with folks to share audiences. All of these, feel good platforms that prey on especially women's feeling, which is me, because I bought into this too, that if I just get around the right people and I have someone cheering me on and I feel understood, then I will blossom. Now, spoiler alert, my friend feedback on these organizations, on these programs, on these marketing gurus who just try to hook you on their internet fame is that there's no strategy. And look, I believe that every business is a relationship business, absolutely. But if you are looking to grow your business, the relationships that you need are clients. You need paying clients. And I knew that, but somehow in my decision-making process, I never asked myself those questions around what is the North Star? Why am I joining this mastermind? Because in hindsight, in my own journal, I found that it was actually a lot of ego that inspired me to invest $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, $20,000 over and over again, because I wanted to feel good. I wanted to be understood. this entrepreneurial game can be lonely. And so when someone taunts you with a carrot of a community of people just like you in beautiful places, doing the same things, talking about the same problems, then wow, that is dazzling. And the times that I invested in masterminds were definitely times when I felt alone. And I felt like I just needed someone. Yes, okay, you have an entire room of people, let me in there. And then as the offers evolved to be like, okay, you're gonna partner with these amazing superstars. Okay. But guess what I found out when I got into those groups? The people that were in there were like-minded like me in the ways that they did not have their stuff figured out. Even in the first mastermind I joined, there were big names, people who were best-selling authors, had 1 million Instagram followers. Sure, they were in the room, but they looked at me, just trying to figure it out, just wanting to rub shoulders, just like new to the game, feeling like, again, under the belief that if I just follow my intuition and I'm in the room with the right people, then I'm gonna get all of my business problems solved. But those people had very different problems than me. And I realized that the folks who were actually willing to network with me had nothing to offer me. And I was very discouraged, but I also sucked the hopium. I also thought, okay, there's just something about me that's not good enough. There's something about this mastermind that I haven't done enough for yet. It's a me problem. And that's what led me to keep repeating this decision-making process, is because every time I've failed in business, I've taken it upon myself. And I think that's very common among women. We don't look to blame everyone else and be like, oh, you didn't spoon feed me the answers. Oh, you didn't actually come in and give me any one-on-one attention. Oh, you actually didn't take the time to understand my business. I literally went into my journal and I was like, I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't good enough. I just did this because my ego told me to. And then I felt bad about it. And we know that shame is not the best motivator, right? And so this shame and guilt cycle did continue in my business decision making because they sell it so well. And in today's day and age, I hope you know that there's a big difference between the best marketers and the best coaches. The best marketers, these internet gurus, these people with massive followings, I've been in the room and the curtain falls and they're not actually the best business people. They didn't have answers for me. In fact, they looked at me and they asked, what do you think? Well, that's not why I came here, right? And then the best coaches, they're not actually marketing themselves that way. The people that I have seen, just average Joes, okay, not massive influencers that say, hey, I want to put together a mastermind. I worked with some of these folks when I was running a done-for-you copywriting agency for coaches. And at that point, my offer was just to write your copy, polish your personal brand on multiple platforms, write sales copy for your website, give you email sequences to convert, things like that. And in that offer, I had a few clients who came to me and they said, Hannah, I want to put together a mastermind. Can you write some sales copy for it? And I would always ask them typical questions that I would need answered to fill out a sales page. And those pages never got written because I didn't feel in integrity saying, yeah, let's go out and charge $20,000 for them to come to your house. I didn't have enough to sell that on. And then, clients would take a little reflection and they'd realize, oh yeah, I just am desperate for money. I need a cash injection. Maybe I'll go throw spaghetti or put together a retreat, good coaches don't exactly know how to put together an offer and market it very well. That's why they were hiring me. And that's why I was asking them questions well, what is the actual value? I need to feel in integrity with what I'm going to sell or put on a sales page. And those offers never made it to market because they never passed the test of being a viable product in my book. But that situation was after these 3 attempts of masterminds. Because there are marketers out there who don't go through those checks of saying, is this offer in integrity? And they put out things, join my inner circle for a year and it's $60,000. And so that's the proposition that was on my Biz Besties table today. And I said, okay, $60,000, what do you get? What's on the sales page? okay, well, we get invited to their dinner series and we get to join their group calls and we get exclusive access to her podcast. And I was like, okay, what's the strategy? What problem do they solve for you? How do they bring ROI to your business? Well, that's the point of networking in the group, and these amazing leaders who are in the community are going to help us figure that out. And I was like, okay, so no proven strategy. That's my red flag number 2. Number 1 is that this was a marketing guru, and I had no proof that she has a real business, okay, besides monetizing her cuteness on Instagram. And then the second red flag for me was that there was no proven strategy. And these are the questions I wish I had asked. I wish I had asked these mastermind folks, like, okay, well, what from your business can you give my business? Are you going to apply your SOPs to me? Are you going to give me your client acquisition system? Are you going to teach me how to lead a sales team like you? Because most of these mastermind gurus are not actually willing to give you those things. But then the second question that I should have been asking is, so what is the proven system, or what is the obvious ROI in this for me? And again, all they can come up with is you're going to feel good, right? You don't need a strategy at this point. You just need to be asking yourself better questions, is something that I heard from this third mastermind I joined. But here's the strategy that I was sold on. So in one of these masterminds, they said, okay, well, we take a mindset first methodology, and all of the women in this program have to qualify. They have to be making a certain amount of money. And I thought, okay, I get it. We get to a certain point in business and it's not about new strategies all of the time. And yeah, maybe I do just need to chill out and start thinking more like a CEO or thinking more like a millionaire. Get me in the room. I want to see what it's about. But then again, you get into these rooms and it's all just networking with folks who also don't have it figured out. Now, some of these masterminds would offer come in person, right? Be in the room with these mega superstars. And so I'd go and I would listen and I would take notes and I would suck the hopium. And I would feel so good after being in the room. But then I would go back to my room and have no idea how to implement. And this is really the big issue, the big bottleneck with the coaching industry, the thing that continues to tarnish our relationship and make it hard for people who are actually in integrity to make sales. And that is that there's no implementation. So that's a third question to be asking, what does implementation look like? Or do we just go on a cheerleading trip, feel good in the Bahamas, and then go back to work with a good suntan, but no strategy? Where's the implementation? And you guys we've all been burned by online courses and programs that just throw you into a Facebook group and say, good luck, right? We know with those programs, they might not call themselves a mastermind, but implementation is missing in so many places of the coaching industry. I remember when I was kind of over the mastermind thing, but then I was looking for mentors in 2023 and I interviewed a dozen mentors, millionaire mindset, 7-figure scaling school, all sorts of stuff like that, all the buzzwords. And I was like, okay, so how do we implement? How do we test? How do we know that this is going to work for me? Because look, I understand in business that there is no you try one thing, just one answer to everything and you do it once and everything works out perfectly. But no one again can answer this implementation question. And I've been in plenty of positions where I feel like I'm doing all of the right things. Not just I wasn't ready for this, but I'm okay, I'm doing the things. I'm doing the homework. I'm showing up to the group calls. But no one takes the time to look at you and implement for you. And so back to my friends, I asked that third question and they were like, that's a good one, Hannah. We should ask that. And I'm like, I would never at this point consider anything for $60,000 that didn't make this incredibly obvious to me. Even the fact that they would have to go back and ask this salesperson these questions is so from my sales perspective, I understand how pitches work. And I'm like, okay, so they're literally pitching you, get in the room and feel good. And my friends are like, okay, after this line of questioning, even as a friend, just my chit chat, okay, did this happen? Did this happen? They started to question themselves too. Because if you really take 17 steps back and you start thinking like a real business owner, not a newbie coach, but a real business owner, how does it make sense that you have no way of getting clients besides maybe getting into a room, maybe networking, maybe getting a referral, maybe having more coffee chats that lead you to a maybe strategy? It doesn't make sense. And coaches have been sold this lifestyle, me included, okay? This is all my own lived experience. We've been sold this lifestyle that you just need to like act as if and elevate your brand and show up and like just all of this noise that social media has encouraged, but also these marketing gurus that tell us, just put yourself out there, go live, do marketing, do branding, do these sexy things that are not actually business building activities. And these friends of mine, they do have a 6-figure business, but they've hustled to get there. And they've had to cold DM people on Instagram, and they've had to make 1 million reels, and they've gone viral once, and they like do launches, and they have just like, to me, a lot of chaos in their business. And so because I was their friend, I was like not trying to sell or pitch or coach them into anything besides being like, the missing piece for you guys is not your network. It's that you need a reliable system to get clients in the door. Because if you have clients coming in the door and you have that base of abundance or a client acquisition system, which we build for our clients, then go to a mastermind because it's fun, because you want the sexy pictures, because you want to, get those celebrity shots that are going to position you differently because your branding is actually working. But I did this too, where I try to patch together the top of funnel, the branding, the looking good, the rubbing shoulders. But where does that convert to? Where is that going to connect to money coming in the bank? Now, maybe they'll say, hey, come on my podcast and you'll get a random client. But none of that sort of networking thing is rinse and repeat. It's definitely not a system. Again, it's hopium. It's just, I hope this works out, and then you get a few fluky clients and maybe you break even on the investment. But after a year, I looked back on these investments and I was like, I'm still missing the same pieces. I have more friends, I feel less lonely, but that doesn't solve my problems. That doesn't help me sleep at night. That doesn't help me pay down my credit card debt. I wish coaches were thinking more strategically about businesses before they just focus on the lifestyle of being a coach. Because even when I was in a certification program for my coaching cert, right? I got the little paper that said Hannah is a certified coach. And it was a 6-month program and $10,000 even before these masterminds. And I felt like I needed it to just be in integrity. That has always been so important to me. And there was a little section at the end of the coaching certification that had us put together our business plan. And it was a 37-page Google document where I filled in the template. They had some word art from the 90s in this template. And I answered the questions and I submitted it. And I was like, okay, what's next? Because this is definitely not a business. And they're like, amazing, you graduate. And so I left there graduated and no real business prowess. Before I got into coaching, I was an academic advisor, and there's a similar kind of certification, right? Students would go through undergrad, but it was literally my job at the university to talk about next steps. What do you want to be when you grow up? How are you going to apply for jobs? Let me review your resume. And the coaching certification had no post-graduation support. And so they send us out into the world with this hopium and they say, good luck, go build a business. And then of course we stumble upon other like minds who are also just kind of floundering in this coaching fodder. And we have all these great questions to ask people and we have all these amazing tools. One of those tools being social media. And then we go out and we're like, okay, so now I'm in the coaching world and everyone is yapping about their retreats and their masterminds and their biz besties and their meetups in Phoenix. I guess that's what we do. And we don't have the opportunity to take 17 steps back and ask ourselves well, now I'm a business owner. You're a coach and a business owner and you have to wear both hats at once. But most of us never realize that. And so we're just running around with one hat and our eyes kind of hidden, just running into people who seem like they figured it out because they have a lot of followers or they have some product that they took to $1 million and now they're going to invite us over for dinner. And again, when you take the perspective of 17 steps back, it all just kind of looks silly. And I think that's where my friends are at now too, and starting to ask themselves questions like CEOs and not just like cute coaches on Instagram who want the vanity metrics or hope that going viral is going to solve all of their problems. It's not, because what do they do in 6 months when they need to go viral again? Or this mastermind is over. Like, you just stay on that churn. And this is why it took me $50,000 and 3 different masterminds to get the courage up to even start this conversation or turn on this recording today. It's because it's really hard to see it when you're in it. And after being burned out by my 3rd mastermind who said, yeah, joint ventures, sharing each other's audience is going to be what helps you, I decided to leave social media. I was so fed up. I was so burnt out by this guru marketing ecosystem out there that I said, enough is enough. I'm going rogue. For almost 1.5 years, I did not do social media. And in that time, I relied on referrals and my email list and some networking. And while it was good to not be bombarded with the guru marketing noise, it was also very lonely again. And when I mean lonely, it was like I had my clients, I had my team, I had, a trickle of folks coming in from referrals, but I didn't have consistency. I didn't have any way to predict where my next client was coming from, but I did have the space to think differently than what I was getting bombarded with on social media. And it was in my time away from social that I started leaving the coaching industry. And I started looking for answers outside of this bubble that we're all trapped inside of, thanks to the algorithm, thanks to our network, thanks to like-mindedness. But I realized as soon as I got out of the bubble and I got some perspective that it is incredibly dangerous to be surrounding yourself with only like-minded people. Because in hindsight, these people will just give me the same advice and have me spiraling down more and more into just do what feels good, no strategy, or take this little piece of what worked for me without having the full system of how my business works and it not being enough. So I got out of this bubble of coaches coaching coaches, right? And I started to get some perspective, and I looked outside of the bubble of the coaching industry and looked at real businesses. And this is when I met my now business partner, Ore, who had been working in other industries building client acquisition systems. Why did I never hear that phrase in the coaching industry? Coaching never talks about a client acquisition system, but it really piqued my interest. And he was running these systems inside of other companies, other industries. And I said, you're getting 5 clients that are paying $5,000 every single month for these folks? Like, that's a coaching program. High ticket. They don't need 1 million people a month. They just need like 3 to 10. Let me get my hands on this system. And we spent nearly 1 year collaborating on how can we adapt these client acquisition systems for coaches. Because selling coaching is very different than just selling some other product or some professional development program or some sales training program. Coaching has to come from the heart. You are, investing in the personality and the energy of the coach. And so it can't just be, direct marketing. It can't be what they teach you in business school. Not that I ever went to business school, but I feel like I'm building my own type of MBA day in and day out ever since I decided to stop thinking like a coach and start thinking like a CEO. And so we now have our CEO system for client acquisition that we give coaches, and it helps them reliably and predictably enroll 3 to 10 clients every single month. If you want to know how it works, just click the link below. I'm not going to get into all that nitty-gritty today. I just want us to start asking better questions and not get sucked into just what we see because we're inside of this ecosystem of masterminds being the solution when it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I just know this because I lived inside of that bubble for 7 years. And being outside of it, again, I have the perspective to say, gosh, that's kind of silly. So long story short, and more, I thought this was going to be a 15-minute video, but I did, want to convey the idea that I conveyed to my friends, which is the solutions that you are seeking are not inside of the coaching industry. If they were, we would all have it figured out, and we wouldn't be shouting, do social media, do a webinar, run ads, all of these different things. We wouldn't all be shouting and then trying to trick you into just coming over to our house to chit chat if we had a proven system. And when I was in my agency days, I was incredibly committed to having clear deliverables. It felt very out of integrity for me to just keep selling hope, selling coaching. I don't know, let's just see where this goes. And it was when I started thinking like a CEO that we started doing things in our program, like, having a pitch or having an explanation of exactly how our system is going to work for you as an individual. And this required an application process. This wasn't just me like marketing it to everyone. This was about me making sure that this is actually going to work for you. I can actually draw the line to your ROI and put a guarantee on it. And I know a lot of coaches are afraid of that, but because I consider myself a CEO now, I can't live without a guarantee. And so this could also be something that helps you make decisions in your next group or community or program. Do they have the proven system, and would they be willing to even offer a guarantee? Because I can guarantee you that masterminds can never say, we promise you're gonna make $20,000 back if you come hang out with us. Of course they can't. They're gonna say, well, that depends on you. That depends on who you book a coffee chat with. That depends on how it goes for you. But coming back to the 3 core questions that I asked my friends. Number 1, what are they offering you? What is in their pitch that is clear ROI for you? And don't just tell me chit chat, okay? I need to see a proven way, something that you can say, this will help you make your money back. As business owners, we must think about profitability. We can't just do things to feel good anymore, because I did that and it made me $75K in credit card debt. Just doing what feels good keeps you in your comfort zone and has you make decisions based on what everyone else is doing, even though everyone else does not have the results that you want. So then the second question is, do you have a proven system? And it goes well with question number 1, but I want to see it. I want to know you're not just going to be making up different stuff for Tom, Dick, and Harry in the room saying, try this, try that, maybe this will work. I'm already throwing spaghetti at the wall by myself. I want to know that you are going to come in and look at my stuff and be individually committed to the results that I'm looking for, not just having me suck on hopium. And then the third question is, do you have the life and the results and the real business that I want? Because if you're just an influencer, or if you're just someone who has a popular podcast, I'm looking to make a real change in people's lives. And maybe you just want to be internet famous, but good luck when TikTok gets taken away again, right? We are in an era where we have to be building things in integrity. And that means you only want to partner and invest with people who align with that if you want to be in the coaching industry after the year 2027. That is just my prediction. I've been saying this since 2018, that there's a paradigm shift happening. We started it in 2020. That prediction checked out. Everything is transforming to 2027, where just based on the way that history and the world, and yes, maybe astrology works, that we're going to be living in a new paradigm around integrity. And for those of us who have been thinking about that our entire careers, we're really well positioned. But we do also need to be making decisions to only partner with folks who are in integrity. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I love who I'm going to join, I love the mastermind, I love that, then I highly recommend that you get in there and you get as close to the leader as possible, and you be an ask hole. And you push that leader to get inside of your business, to answer hard questions, to give you a proven roadmap so that you can hopefully make your investment back and not just be surrounded by a bunch of like-minded people who like being in their bathrobes and taking cute pictures, but don't actually build a real sustainable business. That's just all I'm available for now. I don't get as distracted by the emails and the offers and the flashy things, because I did that and I know that it doesn't lead to sustainable results. I am much more interested in partnering with people who are committed to my growth, who even have a stake in the game, who can even offer some sort of guarantee to show me that they have a proven process, a system, something that I can take and it can live beyond their hopium or their cheerleading. So we all are here to, be on our journey, and I am grateful for those masterminds that I've invested in because I learned a lot about how I don't want to do business, but I also hope that we don't have to keep going down that path of credit card debt, $60,000. Like, imagine what you could do with that in building a system. Definitely not going to cost you that much. Definitely not going to take you a year. We need to be asking better questions. We need to get out of the echo chamber of guru marketing that has saturated coaches' minds, take a few steps back and start thinking less like a coach who's in the rat race and more like a CEO who wants to build a real business, in my opinion, to survive the changing times and actually make the impact that we are here to make. If you also just hang out with like-minded people all of the time, then what impact is that? You're not transforming lives, you're not impacting the masses, you're just, what I realized and what my journal knows is that I was just fulfilling my own selfish vanity goals. And there's so much more to do in this lifetime than just that, in my very humble opinion. So if you are interested in how we build those systems for coaches so that, again, you have a base of abundance, walk into those rooms knowing where your next 10 clients are coming from. Walk into those rooms with 50K months under your belt. Walk into those rooms with curiosity, and maybe we could host an event together, and maybe that could impact lives and change the world. Not because you need to go in there and figure out how you're going to save your life or save your business. So if you want to do that from a place of abundance, again, just go check out our video, see if our CEO system is something that's interesting to you, or keep going down your journey, asking yourself and asking the folks that you want to partner with or join real questions about real results, because coaches need to be thinking about profitability more than just feeling good. You're already good at feeling good. You have so many tools around goal setting. You can coach other people how to do it. But what you don't have the tools for is building a client acquisition system. And now you know, and this is good news. And I hope that this inspires you to, again, make strategic decisions in the direction of your goals, not in the direction of your comfort zone, just feeling good. Cheers to growth. Dream life is real life. Let me know what you think of the CEO system video.